everyone, it's Twist65 again, and today is part 3 of building the scenic divide on my N-scale layout. If you remember from part 2, we left the Scenic Ridge / visual break covered in dirt or unsanded tile grout, and this time we'll continue on the ridge by adding some undercover growth over the bare earth and adding some color to those rocks. I really like the shade and tone of Woodland Scenic's blended turf earth blend. It makes for a nice base for grass from late spring into early fall. I started at the top of the ridge and I worked my way down towards the layout level. I used a slightly watered down PVA glue this time, approximately 75% glue, 25% water. This way the glue would spread thinly and reach down to all the tight little spaces, and yet it wouldn't run straight down the mountainside like a 50-50 mix would. Like the grout before, I worked in small sections at a time, adding the blended turf over the glued up areas. Pushing on to the next area down the line while I had all the glue, water, and turf mixture at hand. I made sure not to get any glue on the rock faces so they would stay grass free. For summer grasses, you just need to put some brighter green tone over this browner colored turf and it'll act as a kind of a undershading. For my layout, the season is set in early fall, so there will be patches of greens as well as fall colors. After the glue dried, I did come back in with a soft 2-inch brush to remove the loose turf before proceeding to lock everything in place with that 50-50 mix of glue and water. And after that dried, this is what we were left with, a mixture of bare earth, grass, and rock faces, all nicely kind of tied together. I was much better prepared this time, and I got the grass down working an hour or so during the work week, which left plenty of time this week to color up those rock faces. Here are the basic set of inks that I use to get the color variation into the rock faces. A couple of browns, a black, and a white. Since the rocks were a simple plaster mixture with some gray colored acrylic worked into them, they accepted inks really well and dried very quickly. I also like to mix the inks down with some flow aid. This extends the working time before the ink dries, as well as diluting and helping things flow without desaturating the colors. As you can see, I lay out several shades of gray and black and dark browns with a paintbrush. Then I fill in the tones of gray using a sponge. The sponge is really nice in that you can get that mottled color by dabbing several shades onto the surface of the sponge and then press and rotate the sponge on the rock faces. Now the rocks have some color but look flat. To fix this, it's time to do some dry brushing. I started with a medium gray and finished with a light gray. If you're unfamiliar with dry brushing, it's a process of loading a soft brush with paint and then wiping most of it off the bristles. Then when you lightly swipe the brush over your subject, only the high spots receive a bit of color, highlighting texture and details that would otherwise be lost. At this point, everything is dry and already looking like a grassy ridgeline. Over the next couple of weeks, I may come back in with other shades of grasses to break up the color a little bit, but I'm thinking the darker greens will be used at the base once I have more terrain finished on the lower part of the layout. For now, I need to go off and start making some trees. There are a couple of methods out there to research and test before I can apply them to the ridge, so the next installment in this scenic break may not be ready to video for a while. But there is still that mountain tunnel to finish, as well as getting power back to the layout to test that everything is still operational after all of this work. If you enjoyed the video, please consider a like and subscribe. It does really help. And until next time, happy hobby.